Imam al-Ghazali, he makes a very beautiful example. He says the human being is comprised of various elements. The human, Allah has created them very special. They have various elements. And he says these elements, I am going to equate it with a certain thing that you know, so that it'll be easy for you. He says, inside each and every one of us, there is a pig. Now, as a Muslim, he's like, Astaghfirullah, Imam Ghazali, how dare you? He says, you have a pig inside you. He says, you also have a dog inside you. Number 2, 4 elements. You have a pig, you have a dog. I'm going to talk about these 2. So inside ourselves, we have a pig. This is not a literal pig. Obviously, if you cut a human open, you will not find any kind of khinzir or pig inside them, inshallah. What the pig represents is an unbridled desire for your shahawat. Desires, basically. The pig is desires. Each one of us has this seeking of benefit. We're constantly seeking our own personal benefit, and that's exactly what a pig does. Pig doesn't want to go harm people. He doesn't really care about that. He's just trying to eat. He's trying to fulfill his desires. He's trying to have a good time. And so Imam al-Ghazali says, you're the same. You're always trying to seek a good time, whether it be according to the doctrine of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala or against it. That is the pig nature of you and I. The chasing, constant chasing of dunya and desires and obeying the nafs. That is a pig. He says you also have a dog. The dog aspect of us tries to repel harm. What does a dog do? Why do people have dogs? Anyone tries to jump over that fence, it's going to tear them apart. It's a protective measure. And this dog is our anger. Our anger, what do we do with that anger? When we don't have control over it, we use it in the wrong way. And we end up oppressing people when it goes to its limits. So he says we have these 2. Now if you think about it, we need these 2. I'm sorry to use these terms, it doesn't sound nice, but sometimes we have to be harsh. We need the pig and we need the dog. If you didn't have the pig, you wouldn't eat. You wouldn't sleep. You wouldn't care about yourself. You need to have some desires and you need to fulfill those at times. But you cannot let it go too far. You also need the dog. If someone's going to come and harm you and your family, you can't just let them do that. That's not what Rasulullah taught us. We will defend ourselves if we have to. That is the dog. We can have that dog if we need it. But we're not going to go over those boundaries and harm innocents. We're not going to go and take away innocent lives, as there are plenty of dogs in the dunya in this time. But we're not those. So these are in a facet, they're necessary, but they must be controlled. So those are the first 2 out of the 4. You have to control them. He says the other 2, the demon and the sage. The demon and the sage. The sage is a wise man. So these 2 are, and he says the pig and the dog, these are what the nafs are. The nafs is the pig and the dog. The desire for more and the defensive measure is the nafs. What is the demon? The demon is one who wants to cause the dog and the pig to become friends. And he does this to instigate. He likes corruption. He enjoys it. So what he does is he starts planning certain things, plotting, and he causes the dog and the pig to become friends. What happens when the dog and the pig become friends? We like friends, but in this case, we don't want the dog and the pig to become friends. If the pig and the dog become friends, the pig is going to want haram. He's going to say, I want to do this zina, this drinking wine, all of this stuff, looking at haram. I love this stuff, the pig. The dog is like, hey, you're my buddy, I'm going to get it for you. I'm going to fight for you. I'm going to go out there, I'm going to do what I can to ensure that you get that haram. I don't care, you're my friend, I'll do whatever it takes. And that's what happens. The shaitan is going to go and he's going to tell the dog, go help your buddy out. He wants these desires, you just help him out with your anger, with your strength. It doesn't matter if you have to oppress, get what you need. It doesn't matter if it's not your land, steal it from them. Also, the pig will give strength to the dog. He will say, you know what, I desire these things, so you get more angry for me. You go and fulfill that. You become really angry, go take out your revenge, bite that person, do what you got to do. So they strengthen one another. This is when the demon takes control over us. And what does the demon do? His first job is kick out the sage, ensure that he's out of the city. Now when the sage is gone, I got control over my dog and my pig. I'm going to do whatever it takes. This is imamghazali says this is what happens to you and I. Most of people in the dunya, you are being controlled by the demon. You and I. The demon has control. Now what does the sage do? The wise man. And this is the beauty of this example. And this is the beauty of fasting. The sage, he uses his intellect. He doesn't want corruption. He wants harmony. He knows that part of harmony is to not let the dog and the pig become friends. So he keeps them separate. When the pig starts wanting some desires, he wants food, he wants sleep. Okay, you can have that halal, it's good. The pig says, okay, I want a little bit more. I want this haram, I want wine. I want to do zina. I want to do this. Now the wise man is like, no, I'm not going to let you have that. Dog, put him down. Attack the pig. He needs to be put in his place right now. He's going too far. So he uses the dog against the pig. Then the pig calms down. He gets a little scared. Similarly, when the dog wants to take revenge, the dog wants to oppress. He wants to just harm people. Very angry in nature. He says to the pig, tell him that this is against our desires. This is not going to end up in a good way. We're not going to get what we want. When you get angry, you never get what you want. So the pig advises the dog. He says, you know what, we're not going to get our desires. Let's not do this. So he uses them against each other, and now you have equilibrium. And the first thing the sage does is he defeats the demon. This is what fasting does for us. If you're going to fast properly, you will use the sage and kick out that demon from your heart. And if you go against the dictates of fasting, what you're doing is you're letting that shaitan, that demon, come and rule you. We have these elements within us. And sometimes the sage wins and sometimes the demon wins. The goal here is to reach ihsan and fully kick out that demon. And that's what we want. We ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for this. We ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for guidance, rahmah, maghfirah, and salvation from the fire of Jahannam. وصلى الله تبارك وتعالى على خير خلقه محمد وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين برحمتك يا أرحم الراحمين.